Greetings, dear brothers and sisters in Christ. My name is Csongor Kelemen, and I'm here to welcome you again on the third episode of our sit-down with brother Johannes Oost, who works for the Boer Marine. And if you've seen the first two parts of this interview, in the first part we were talking about their business and what they do. In the second part we were talking about the faith, the growth of the faith of this brother, and how he has experienced the Lord ministering to him. And now we will go a little bit more into the detail of what his working field is. So, Johannes, would you please tell us about how you got involved with this company?
Yeah, absolutely. As a teenager, I did technical background and economics. I started at a different company at first, being in the satellite communication business. That business grew. It was eventually bought by a company from the US, so it became bigger and bigger. I was getting a more active role, also in management role, so to speak. Had my own teams. And eventually this company, the Boer Marine, was one of my customers that I had. But after a while I wanted to leave the company. I wanted to start something for myself. My vision was a little bit different than the company's vision where I work with. I had some ideas, so I said okay. So I went to all my customers and said, hey, thank you for all these years that you were a customer of the company I work with. Yeah, it's time for me to move on to a different position, and I want to. And then the Boer Marine, who is also a company that is actually at Urk, where I also live myself by coincidence. They told me, okay, maybe you want to do a partnership with us, and then we discussed that, and that's how I actually moved into the Boer Marine, taking up almost the exact same role as I had with the previous company, making sure that the company develops, but there were different markets here also to attain.
You were talking about a time with your previous company that you gradually, you said you got your own team to work with. So as I understand you, that means also a kind of growth in responsibility that you gained.
Yes, absolutely.
Is that something that you were aiming for, or it was something that just happened organically, or so did you already, when you started in this field of work, did you have these ambitions to be in a more leadership role?
Not directly ambitions. I was a little bit younger back then, so you just start in a nice company. But I always liked my work, so you work hard, and eventually, if people see that from management and there are coming job vacancies higher up the ranks, so to speak, and they're asking you if you want it, then I would always say yes, because more responsibility, other work, better work is always nice.
Yeah.
I always like to evolve and develop myself and help the company grow.
And what were abilities that you had to develop or learn during this journey?
Communication. It's a big part of becoming more and more higher up in the chain, so to speak, because you need to deal with people that you are responsible for. Taking on responsibility, being on the front. It consumes more time, because as a let's say a regular employee on the work floor, you have like set times. But when you are becoming a manager, you need to actually work more and do more hours. So that was something that needs to be grown.
So communication, do you also enjoy meeting people and
Yep.
engaging with them?
Yeah, yeah. Luckily, I do enjoy that.
Yeah.
That wasn't something that I actually didn't know up front of myself. Of
Yeah.
course, in my youth, I like to have friends and talk with everyone. But it was not that I was like someone who talked freely to everyone, so to speak. But yeah, during the years that easily developed, and
Yeah. So you think also communication and engaging with other people is something that can be achieved and can be developed. As you said, it's something that you gain experience in.
yes and no. I think there needs to be some basic in it that
Mhm.
you can do it. I'm sure there are people here that are always afraid to talk to someone else and
Yeah.
they never want to do it. So you need to have a little bit of yeah.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that you can do it. But if you see that you can speak to people and they respond naturally to it,
Yeah.
then you're getting more experience in it and you feel at ease, and then it grows organically.
And you said in our first part of the interview that you traveled a lot for your work.
Yep.
Well, maybe you visited all of the continents, so
Yes.
countries and all the continents.
Yep.
What are your impressions about people in general? Do you think that people are more different depending culturally, or are they more the same?
Culturally, there are a lot of differences, even close by already. If you look at Urk already has a
Right.
different culture than the rest of the Netherlands,
Yeah.
if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
So yes, also when you travel culturally, there are differences. But at the end, we're all human, and I think we all want to achieve the same, which is like we want to make sure that we have enough money for food. We want to make sure that we can raise our family in a loving world.
Mhm.
Of course, there's always people that want to have more and more and more, but at the end,
Yeah.
all around the business, everyone wants to work together. I've always seen that even though there are so many differences in culture, people want to work together.
Yeah. Well, that's actually quite nice to experience. That there's something binding all people through a whole of the world together, and that is actually something that the gospel also teaches us. That because the gospel is a message that is the same for, as Paul says, for Jew and Gentile, for each and every nation on the earth.
Yep.
So that is also a kind of universal thought that is projected onto the people that you engage with.
Yep.
But I don't know if do you have a mostly positive view of people, or do you say well, all people are imperfect, and all people have needs, and how do you view that? Do you see people as positive, or well, also the darker sides of humanity?
Well, then you need to define it a little bit, because at the end, and no one is perfect. Let's start with that. But I'm working in the maritime market, also with the previous company. I've always been in the maritime market, and from what I seen and heard, is that the maritime market is like different than other markets. People like to work more together.
Oh,
So
yeah.
in total, I think the maritime market is quite positive. That's what I like about it. It's also very rush jobs, and you need to be very flexible. But if you look at it globally, to humans and mankind,
Yeah.
then we have a lot to learn.
Yeah. We have a long way to go, and but maybe acknowledging that is also a fertile ground for the gospel itself, because the gospel views people as flawed and broken, but
Yep.
in this flawedness and brokenness, there is still the love of God who calls us to Himself.
Yep.
But it's really interesting what you say, that in the maritime market people are, generally speaking, a bit more open. And I don't know. This is just a thought that comes into mind. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that a lot of times these people spend hours and days on the open sea, and well, they know, of course, know their own crew. But if they see someone else, then it's something special, and it's something enjoyable.
Exactly.
So this connectedness is present. What do you think are the biggest achievements that you have reached, and what achievements, what goals do you have for the future for this company and for you personally?
The biggest achievement, I think it's ongoing. The biggest achievement is being here and developing and growing, but it's an ongoing achievement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's an achievement that will ever stop until you're getting retired. So there's not really like you're saying, oh, I have an achievement, and the achievement always evolves, especially in the market as we are in, as I mentioned to you, IT, the market always evolving, so achievements always are being moved away, and you need to adapt. What I like the most, and I think it's a good achievement as well of the company as maybe myself, is that we are really focusing on what the market needs. We listen to the market, and we're getting good feedback from the market that what we are doing is right. They feel helped, and we build hardware and software ourselves, designed for their needs explicitly. And when that happens, people are always happy that, hey, now you have a specific part that really helps me, and that's always nice to help people.
Yeah, we were talking about a few episodes ago. We were talking about this gives you a sense of fulfillment to be able to help people, which yes, I can imagine that there's a really nice feeling to have. But do you think that your company has how would you describe that the biggest goal of your company is? Would you be content with the status quo? So would you be content with being sustainable and sustaining the amount of clients that you have and the work that you do now, or are you planning to do more and more and to expand and to build? What is your vision about this?
Well, we're always happy with every customer that we have right now, of course, and always happy that they choose for the Boer Marine. But yes, we would like to expand. I think that's the natural achievement of any company, as long as you can handle it. I don't like it to constantly add customers, and at the end you don't have people, so you cannot manage your other customers, your older customers anymore. Always stay true also to the customers that started with you already. And I think that's a big important one. Most of these days people are looking for new customers, but they're forgetting after 5 or 10 years they're old customers, but no, they are still there. They helped you develop the company. So you need to stay true to them as well. So listen to everyone. That's hard, it's difficult, because you also need to find the right personnel for it constantly.
Do you sometimes also have to say no? Is that something that there's also well, an ability to learn and to master, to be able to say, well, I would like to, but given our circumstances, it's not possible. So maybe in the future, but not right now. I can imagine that would be something hard to say in a view of your business that is only focused on building your business. But if you view it as well, what can I do for the other? How can I help the other? Then maybe it's more responsible to say no sometimes.
Not only responsible, but also the truth. And I think that's very important. Always speak the truth to your customers on what you can handle or cannot handle. Because at the end, they will see through it, and then you have a big problem. So if they have an issue and they want something to be done and we cannot do it because it's a brand, maybe we are not used to it, because there are different brands in the market, we can say, okay, we have not experience with it, we can try to learn it, we can help you with it because they seem similar, but I cannot 100% guarantee you that we can actually fix it this time. 99% of the time we will find a way. And that's what I love also about this company. We are flexible, constantly evolving, trying to find a way to help the customer in one way. But at the end, we need to be honest to ourselves and to the customer and say no.
So, speaking the truth, this reminds me of something that the Lord Jesus said when he talks about expanding and growing and gaining more and more. Then he says in Mark 8, and what benefits is it to you if you would gain the whole world, but you would lose your own soul? So you would well, fall short within your own soul.
Yep.
Can you relate to this?
Yes, of course. I mean, if you lose your soul, that's the most valuable part of what you have. There's nothing that can be, there's not the gold in the world that you can have for your soul. Yes, maybe you have a nice time here on earth. I don't even think you will be happy with all the money in the world, but let's say it's maybe better than having no money at all sometimes.
Well, of course, Jesus is speaking here about your salvation and about eternal life.
Yes.
But I think this idea is also can also be transposed to the business environment as well. Meaning, what use would it be for a business or for a company to grow and grow and grow, but in the end lose its own soul, what it is all about? So you said your greatest achievement or sense of fulfillment is given by the fact that you can help people. But if you grow too large without the necessary things that requires, then you lose out of sight the people that you are called to help, and who you are responsible for.
I've seen it in the past a lot. That's the problem what most really large companies have, of course, that they lose sight on how they originally started and lose sight on not only the customers as we just talked about, but also the personnel themselves, and lose sight on their needs, what is required. And it's only about gaining money, gaining profit, because the board wants it, and there are stakeholders that want it. But eventually, most of these companies, not all, there are some successful, they eventually will break down one day or another. And then all these people are basically on the street. They have nowhere to go at this point. They have no money, they have no, and that's not good. So always look also at the soul of your company.
Even though you have a moral right, a moral obligation towards your employees, and not only a moral obligation as head or leader of in the company, but I think also in the view of the gospel. So that's what we were talking about last time. You have the moral obligation to be responsible for your family, and responsible within your church, and also responsible within your company.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's something we'll talk about next time. For our viewers at home, whether you're watching it on live TV or on YouTube, we'll be glad if you join us next time for the last part of our interview with Johannes Oost, when we will talk about ORA et LABORA, which means work and pray together, how this brother can bring balance between his faith and his work. So see you all next time. God bless you.